Well, my name is Miranda Martinez. I am 32 years old. I am from Connecticut, born and raised for 27 years. I ended up moving to Baltimore, Maryland in 2020. Um, and currently I work full time for Healthcare Access Maryland and BCDSS. Um, I received my Bachelor's of Science from Southern Connecticut State University, and I triple minored in psychology, sociology, and criminal justice. And from my undergrad, it inspired me with all the sociology classes I took to get my first Master's of Science in sociology, and I had a focus in mass incarceration and racial ethnic relations. Um, and I went on to work with, while I was in my first graduate program, I went on to work with adolescent males that were in and out of juvenile detention centers or just had issues within the community like truancy, fighting, just multiple issues that stemmed from different things. And I really enjoyed that. I learned basically we taught the males coping skills, life skills, just small coping skills, nothing too extensive. But I enjoyed that, and it prompted me, it was one of the reasons why I ended up pursuing my second master's in clinical mental health counseling with a specialization in forensic counseling. So, yeah. Well, since I was 17, I've always worked in nonprofits that were geared towards educating youth from inner cities, particularly in Connecticut. Before that specific job I mentioned, I was working at another nonprofit called the Cardinal Sheehan Center. And basically, I was like a youth counselor where the kids from different school districts would come to the rec center, and I would just help them, with their academics primarily. And then we would go on to subcategory things such as arts and crafts, teaching them, just social skills and bonding, teaching them that, bonding skills, friendships, and building bonds with the parents as well. And which helped with like trust and kind of like building rapport. I learned how to do that, which is interesting. I never thought about that until now. But that was more so like kind of surface level because we really couldn't get into depth, unlike the job that I mentioned previously, where I worked with children, with adolescent males. They were on milieu, a milieu, like it was an inpatient mental health, behavioral health clinic. Some of the kids had sexual behavior issues. Some of them did not. They were just, they were stealing, they were fighting. So I was able to gain experience and insight on how to deal with children that have been exposed to sexual abuse and have been the perpetrator in sexual abuse, unfortunately. And then now, currently, working in the field that I am now, I really don't interact with the families like how I interacted with families in my previous places of employment. It's more so I kind of like I would think of it as like a case conceptualization where I do a lot of research and bring in the meat and potatoes of the care plans that have been implemented within when children were in foster care, their time in foster care, and making sure that that's relayed to their parents and whoever guardian that they end up leaving care and being with. And it's more so like educating the parents and children on accessible healthcare, making sure that they're insurance is up to date and how to go about obtaining proper insurance. And when children, clients, I should say, since they're not children at this point, when they age out by 21, I just make sure that they are aware that they are eligible for like tuition waivers and, housing assistance and things of that nature. So yeah. I consider myself a very much a girly girl. So I love getting my nails done. I love getting my hair done and, just splurging on myself. Self-care, I really pride myself in self-care and just making sure that I'm physically and mentally well to show up every day. Especially in a field like this, it can get very burnout is real. So, and I also like to read. I love to hike. I'm a movie fanatic, horror movie. It's kind of odd. I love horror movies. I love gore. I love slasher movies. It's crazy. I love rom-coms too. But I also like learning, as you can tell by my academic background. I put myself through the torture, but I think I stand by a mind is a terrible thing to waste. So I'm really big on just educating myself in my spare time with whatever I can, whatever sparks my interest. What else do I like to do? Of course, I love shopping. Terrible. I love cooking. I've learned that I find peace in cooking, especially if I cook for someone or people. Um, it just gives me joy, like seeing someone like, oh my gosh, enjoy my food. Like, oh, I did that. I feel like the caseloads that speak to me or that I gravitate more towards are cases or clients that may be experiencing anxiety, depression, grief, even couples therapy, like couples counseling. Um, what else? OCD. I'm not too advanced on um, uh, like schizophrenia, like very like specific, like deep mental health issues. Because I feel like I would need to dive a little bit deeper into those types of diagnoses. But for sure, depression, anxiety, OCD. What else is there? Um, Anger is children, especially children. I feel like I just I'm just following my path with working with children and adolescents, and um, I feel like that's like my niche age group as well when it comes to the clients that I would love to help in particular, because children are our future, like literally. So I feel like obviously everyone needs the help, all the help that they can get, but children, they hold a little special place in my heart. My therapeutic approach is more a humanistic, person-centered therapy approach, where it's like it's all in you. We just got to pull it out. We just got to figure out where it's at and like pull it out of you, and apply it and keep it moving. Because I just believe everyone has like the resolution, the solution is inside, is in within. We just have to make minor changes, changes in lifestyle, thinking patterns, and I feel like working with children, that approach would work a lot. Bringing out using that humanistic, person-centered therapeutic approach, um, just because it allows, I feel, more humility and grace to give to the client, especially children. They need that like grace, like that openness, and willing to what's a good word? Just I don't want to say compromise, but just work in a non-judgmental space. Um, so yeah, I really I feel like CBT is like the number one for many clinicians, that I gravitate towards is CBT, because humanistic center a person-centered approaches usually use CBT for the most part. So that one obviously sticks out to me the most. Very visual. Right. I think when working with people from different backgrounds, that have multiple like um, avenues of like intersectionality, um, especially individuals that come from marginalized groups. I feel like just obviously using that person centered and really getting to the core of it and bringing out like the you always had it in you um, mechanism, I should say, I guess. Um, but also realizing that individuals that come from different backgrounds need need grace. They need grace to adjust to the different approach that you might because not every approach again is going to work. So what I just figure out what I can do under my scope of practice, what I'm comfortable with, because I'm not going to apply something that I'm not comfortable with, because then that could open up a can of worms that I just don't want. Anyway, and then work from there, figuring out what the client needs and figuring out what I can provide, and what the client and I can come together to create a better care plan. Um, and then going on from there and figuring out if, oh, well, maybe he or she or they need more resources than what I can provide. Working from different cultures, just like learning the different perspectives of life, like their worldly view and how they view and are living life, because I only know how I live life. I like learning from you, like, even though you're not a client, you're a coworker, a future coworker of mine. Just even learning your worldly view and how you see. So like, I know that your worldly view is totally different than mine. The way you understand things is totally different. So I think that's what I really love about and working with people from different cultures, just understanding them better. So the way I would be able to make sure that the client is heard and understood throughout sessions is just making sure I'm constantly building that rapport with them. Um, Going over any questions that they may have or concerns that they may have, because counseling, like I've been in their shoes. It can be scary, and I don't want anyone to feel intimidated or scared or um, like that. I don't want them to I don't want them to feel that power or make it seem like I have like power over them or anything. Just making sure that rapport, that we're like here, we're on the same level when it comes to being in sessions and understanding the dynamic, the client counselor dynamic. From my previous place of employment, where I worked at the mental and behavioral health clinic with the adolescent boys, the way I measured success in my book for me and success for the client was seeing them take the skills that they've learned and picked up and implement them within their life. And I don't want to say they don't come back to therapy, but because I don't want to see them back at that mental health behavioral clinic. But just making the small progress in their life. It doesn't have to be this outrageous 180, but those like little small adjustments in their lives, they got like there was one time I got there was a kid that I had and was filling up my gas tank, and I hear Miss Miranda, and I'm like, who is that, honey? And he's like, Miss Miranda, it's me. His name was Jose, and I'm like, oh hey. And he's like, I'm on the bus, I'm going to work. He never had a job. He never had a job until after the program, and we helped him build a resume. So things like that. It's like small wins. Like you can't win them all. Like it's not, you have to like realize like not everyone, you can't save everyone, but those small, wins, that's the success. I do a lot of self-talk, and I regulate my emotions by just like talking out like, Miranda, you're all right. Like this is just like the stuff that you have to get through to get to your end goal. And I make sure I set aside time for me, with the whole self-care. I really, really like my school and my classes, my program that I'm in. My professors are so on top of making sure that we prioritize our self-care, and I see why, and I understand why, because it's getting to that point where it's like, ooh, I feel it, but I never let myself get to that point because I know I have like the tools and the different outlets, to positive outlets, I should say, to help me stay grounded and just focused. And yeah. I
Yeah,
always try
you
to
can.
keep a smile. I always try to keep a smile and just, really just, what is it called? But pull myself up by my bootstraps. That doesn't work for everyone, but it works for me. I feel like recently, because there's multiple reasons why, to that question, but breaking down the stigma within my own community, because when I tell people, what I'm in school for and what I aspire to be, they're like, oh, like you want to deal with crazy people, you're like, ugh. And it's just like, and it's within my own community, the Latin community, the Latino community, and the Black and African American community. And when I really have that conversation about the importance of mental health, especially within our communities, especially within the times that we're living in, is essential. So just, yeah, breaking down that stigma around surrounding mental health and um, accessible mental health services, behavioral health services, etc. I feel like I really provide a space where a non-judgmental space where anyone, any and it happens on the street too, anyone can walk up to me and just feel comfortable enough to tell me the things that are bothering them the most, or what's been weighing on their heart. And just having that giving them an open ear for me to listen to. And yeah, no judgment. I'm very non-judgmental. I'm very open-minded, and I really want to like help people just live out the best life that they can possibly live to their fullest potential. Just seeing that, like, that's like that's my vision. But as much as I am very open and non-judgmental, I'm very direct. Um, we're not going to sit here and waste people's time. That's I no, I don't believe that that's fair to me or the client, or just in general. Someone else could be here, gaining materials that they actually need to implement within their life. So of course I'm going to give that, you know, there's time and place to give affirming, right? Like, yes, your feelings are valid. The way you're thinking, the way you're feeling is valid. However, that's not how therapy works. Because then that's like, you might as well just be talking like the people that talk to ChatGPT as their therapist, right? Why sit here and pay me or pay the company when you can do that at home by yourself, right? You know what I'm trying to say? So no, I don't, yeah. Well, when I was going through, because my school has affiliation agreements with a lot of um, centers and clinics throughout Maryland, everywhere actually. But I looked up you guys on Google. I looked up reviews from clients, and I on Glassdoor I saw some reviews from people that have previously actually worked with you guys. I feel like I saw some reviews of past interns, if I'm not mistaken, and they were all positive. Like I didn't have any, there were no negatives. um, so when I applied, when I went on you guys' website, I read through your website and I saw how many, like the different programs that you guys had. I was like, this is really interesting. So, and I saw there was a program, if I'm not mistaken, for youth, that like resonated with my specialty. So I was like, I'm gonna apply here. And then I got an email or got a call, and then I interviewed with Frank and a few other individuals, Carrie Ann. And so far, you guys have been great. I'd say go for it. I'd help them, probably look some places up. Obviously, I'm not gonna provide therapy myself, but I'd help them find great clinicians that are specialized in certain areas that they may need help in. But I always, the solution for me for everything, therapy. Therapy. Like, even if it's just a one-time thing, just to get your foot in the door, get your foot wet and see what it is about, and can really like change someone's perspective. And when they're already thinking about therapy, it's like they're right there to like, so I tell people that are interested in therapy, go ahead, look up what you feel would be best for you and go for it. So I'll never decline therapy.